But based on the price of the bow and the price of the arrows that we bought, the price of the release aid is on a par with everything else that we've got on the kit. The wrist style, which means that they have a Velcro strap and they fit around your wrist, and we're going to fire it with our index finger, like so. And the strap length can be adjusted. It just so happens that the length of this strap fits my hand already straight out of the packet, but both of these release aids and the caliper 44 as well from Fletchmatic does have adjustable straps, so don't worry about it not fitting your hand. I've not met anybody that it doesn't fit yet. To help you select the correct arrow for your bow, you need to log on to easternarchery.com and download their shaft selection chart, and download the target selection chart, not the hunting selection chart. And you'll see here that there are 3 cam options. You're going to use the single or hard cam, and you drop down to the poundage of the bow that you're going to shoot, and in my case I've selected 45 to 50. Although my bow is set at 40 pounds, I can see myself increasing that poundage up to 45 or 50 pounds, and it's always best to go stiff, so choose a heavier bow if necessary. The length of my arrow that I need is 28 inches, and you cross-reference that against the poundage of the bow and it gives you a group number of T7. Then on the other part of the chart you find your group of T7, and in that T7 group gives you a lot of different arrow models that you can use for your bow. And for some reason the Power Flight is not included in the list of arrows for the target selection chart, but it's virtually the same as the light speed arrow. So the model marked LSPD stands for light speed, very similar arrow to the Power Flight, and cross-reference that to the left with the spine number 500, and use these charts to help determine what spine rating you need to shoot with your bow. Now we've got all the basics together, we're going to go outside and shoot it, sight it in, and see what it feels like. Out on the range now, and the draw length set to 29 inches, which is too long for me. I'm a 28-inch draw length, so I'm just going to quickly adjust this down to 28 by removing this screw on the module. Which now that module comes away, I'm going to set that into the 28-inch setting. And we have to change the stop on the other side of the camera as well. Here we are out on the range. I'm going to shoot this for the first time now. It's important though to start only at a very short distance. It may be set up as it comes out of the box, but these sights, there's no way this is going to be set for you on the very first shot. So I'm going to use the top pin, shooting at 10 meters, which is close enough to know that I'm not going to miss the boss because of a bad sight setting, because I certainly don't want to lose an arrow on the first shot. And then we're going to adjust this top pin sight to sight in for 10 meters, and then gradually work our way back for a longer distance. Let's see how we go. Well, I forgot to mention earlier that another piece of equipment you might want is an arm guard. I'm not using an arm guard because the string doesn't hit my arm. I use a stretchy bandage just to keep the clothing out of the way. If you've never shot a bow before and you're going to shoot a compound bow, that string hitting your arm, you certainly know about it, so it's worth getting an arm guard there. Okay, here we go. Right, well, first thing I've noticed is that for my anchor point, which I like to have just below my ear on my jawbone, I can't see through the peep sight, it's too low. So I'm going to adjust this peep sight. I'm going to slide it up a bit by pushing the serving apart on the string, and very, very carefully and gently I'm just going to slide that peep sight up, and be really careful about cutting the strands there. Push that back down again. Let's have another test draw. better. I can see through the pin sight now. Well, I heard a big old flap, so I forgot to take this label off, so let's get rid of this label. And don't leave that on the string. Made the bow sound noisy, that did. Let's have another one. That sounds better, nice and quiet. Let's see where they went. Well, they're my first 3 shots from the bow. I'd like to say I was aiming at that target, but I wasn't. I was aiming at the middle target. So we got the height correct, and that was a coincidence. It happened to be correct. Usually we'd have to make some adjustment up and down, but it shot quite a lot to the left. So I'm going to move my pin sights over to the left to bring that back into line. Well, the idea of moving your sights is that you follow the arrow with your sight. So my arrows went to the left. So as I'm aiming at the target like so, I need to move my sight to the left to compensate for that. So it's got a simple adjustment again. So on the top of the sight here there's an Allen key. Undo that. And you can move the whole of the sight bracket across. And only need very small adjustments. So I'm going to move that about... it was quite a long way to the left, so I'm going to move that about 10 millimeters. Which is one reason for starting only at a short distance, because at that 10 metre distance that I just shot, it still hit the target. If I was shooting at about 40 metres, that would have missed down the side of the target. The angle of the arrow carries on going further and further to the left. So nip that up. I'm also going to now move the target further back, so I'm going to change the vertical adjustment, which is done exactly the same way, and I'm going to do the course adjustment, which is the main big screw on the side. Whoops, yeah, you got to watch out for that. I've just lost all my settings now by undoing that screw and the whole sight dropping down the scale, so I'm back to square one. I can't remember where it was. I'll have to start again, put it somewhere back in the middle. And then when we're fine-tuning the pins, after you've moved the course adjustment, you can move each pin individually with the little screws on the side and make micro adjustments so you have a fixed distance. And if this was my bow, what I would set is the course adjustment to encapsulate the whole of the ranges that I want to shoot, but I would like to set my top pin at 20 metres, the middle pin for 30 metres and the bottom pin for 40 metres. And that's a very good range of adjustment, and that will cover most competition rounds for field archery as well. Well, you can see there we've moved over to the right. Remember, I was aiming at the middle target, so I'm getting close to the middle target, but because I dropped my sight scale down, I lost the vertical position and I've gone high. So I'm pretty confident on the next adjustment I'll be able to get it in the centre. It says hopefully. I've just made another adjustment to my sight, moved it further to the left and higher up the scale, this time without letting it slip down. Pretty confident we should be in the yellow on this one. Yep, not bad. I'll show you that one. Alright, zoomed in there, you can see my first 3 arrows were on the left target, but I was actually aiming at the middle target. And I made an adjustment, moved my sight to the left, brought the arrows over to the right, but my bow sight dropped down the scale, which made them shoot high. Then my third correction was moving the sight up and more to the left, which brought it into the middle, so I actually hit the centre of the target I was aiming at that time. I'm going to push the target quite a bit further back now. I'm going to go back to 30 metres. going to shoot something a bit more challenging now. We're at 35 metres away on the target. I've adjusted the pins. I've increased the gap between the pins from what was the standard setting when it arrived in the box. So the top pin was set for the short distance, which was, when I paced it out, was 12 metres. I've estimated the yellow pin to be 30, and I think the red pin is going to be around about 40. A bit more challenging. Let's see how we go. Spin that round to show you. Sorry about my wobbly camera work. And I'm very pleased with that. All I would need to do is move my sight a very small amount. You can see that the grouping a little bit low left, but grouping they are, so that's a really impressive start. The second attempt at the same distance. I've moved my sight a few millimetres. I'm just going to slow down a bit. I rattled those first group off a bit fast, so I'm going to take my time, concentrate a bit more, and try and improve over the last set. Wind's picked up quite a lot here. It's quite tough to shoot in the wind. Being blown around a bit. Just going to give you a quick rundown on what I think of the bow. It's got a lovely, comfortable grip on it. It's very quiet, like all the Bear archery bows to shoot. Got a little bit of a backwards movement when we shoot it. If you watch carefully on the next shot, you'll see the top cam want to come towards me just a little bit. Demonstrate that again. And I can feel as well, when you've got a bow quiver on like this, the bow wants to move to the side a bit. It's obviously weighted quite a lot on one side. It's very subtle to notice that, so you may not even be aware of it when you shoot it. If you look at the top cam, back slightly. That's down to the stabiliser. It's a very short, lightweight stabiliser, and you often have that effect with only a small stabiliser. Could do with being a bit heavier or a little bit longer. It's a quiet bow, not as quiet as the attack bow I was shooting, and there's a tiny bit more vibration in it than the attack bow I reviewed earlier. But this is a solid feel. It's absolutely lovely to shoot. I'm really enjoying shooting this bow. In fact, I might stay out here a bit longer rather than going in and doing some work. It's a really good fun bow. And I've only got it set at 40 pounds as well. Spitting the arrows out quickly, grouping nicely. I can't believe the price of the bow really. As an entry-level bow, this has got many of the features that you come to expect in a bow twice the price. Just summing up now, I think you know what I'm going to say. I absolutely love this bow. It's the best bow I've ever shot in its price category. I can't believe the performance in relationship to the quality and the price is so good. It blows everything else away I've ever shot in this price range. It's not as nice as the top of the range Attack or Carnage. It's a simplified version of those bows, and the more experienced archer would appreciate the benefits of the higher end bow. But if you want an entry level bow, simple to use, ready to go, this has got to be it. Don't let yourself down by having some cheaper arrows. You've got to get some good quality arrows and a decent release aid to go with it. And if you can push it just a little bit extra to get these nice accessories, you're on your way to a fantastic starter package.